The elements that you pull out of a script, such as cast members, background actors, stunts, wardrobe, makeup, props, and vehicles and such, all have to be entered into this program in a logical way. But I felt the need to make a few changes to small ones so that it's still readable and familiar to everybody who's reading it. So let's go through what those categories are. Cast members, that's where you're going to list all the actors, the principal actors with speaking parts. Each actor is going to get assigned a number. It's most common to put the actors that appear the most with the highest numbers. So your leading actor will get number 1, your secondary actors will get number 2, 3, and 4, so on and so forth. Background actors are going to be listed by the quantity, and you're going to have to actually guess a lot of those and sort of figure in what's reasonable using your instincts as you're budgeting. In certain scenes where background isn't mentioned, if it's obvious, like if it's in a New York City street, of course, you should put in a reasonable amount of background actors into the scene, because there's no point in budgeting a film later that doesn't have the proper amount of extras, and then you're going to still need it and you're still going to have to pay for it. Stunts are indicated whenever there's a stunt going on in the scene. It's just more of a very quick description just so that everyone's alerted and then you have a stunt guy there. Wardrobe, you don't really do anything with as far as labeling whenever someone's wearing something, but if something's happening to the wardrobe over there, something noteworthy, because in every scene, of course, actors are going to be wearing wardrobe, but it's when you need to call a wardrobe detail to the wardrobe person's attention, or prepare more time for the wardrobe to be changed, or the wardrobe gets destroyed because there's blood, or what have you, whatever's happening with the scene. Makeup is also very similar in that way, makeup and hair. You only highlight it when there is something particular going on that you might have to allow for more time or any sort of expense. So if you have to get a special wig or anything like that, now's a good time to indicate that, because you'll want to budget for it, and this is a way to flag that for yourself. And of course with wardrobe, if there's police uniforms or anything like that, you'd want to put that in for budget purposes. Props are usually anything that's handheld. There's sometimes a blur between props and set dressing, but usually props are handled by the actors. Set dressing is usually things that go up on the walls and floors and things that are not generally moved around too much. Picture vehicles is a very important area. In low-budget filmmaking, a lot of times transportation budgets are cut and we don't always have the proper staffing, so it's a little tricky because getting vehicles from one place to another always requires 2 drivers and rounders, and it can get quite expensive. But every instance that a vehicle appears, you should always have that indicated in the scenes, because that is a major set. It's almost as serious as getting an actor into a scene. Now keep in mind, all these departments are responsible for bringing their elements to the set, and what we're doing here is for the purpose of budgeting and for general scheduling, but we're not really doing continuity, because continuity is a responsibility of every department. We, however, are trying to plan for budget reasons and scheduling reasons so that everything is efficient and everyone's prepared for the day in general. Additional labor, you're going to list studio teachers or extra police or maybe a crane operator or any other sort of specialty labor that's going to be happening that day. Special equipment is where you'd list a camera car, an additional camera, a crane, maybe special additions to the camera package itself, or any other specialty items that are equipment related. Music and sound is not really something that's so often indicated anymore, because most of the sound in the age of post-production really doesn't tie into the shooting process. There are exceptions, of course, but every film is different. That's just a general rule. Post-production is important to indicate whenever you have to have some sort of blue screen or any other sort of marker that we have to be aware of what's happening in post, but on for the set. So I'll indicate blue screen here, blue screen, green screen, and any other sort of things that I feel like, maybe track markers or anything else that I feel like we need to be aware of during the shoot. Also list things here that I want to show we're going to do in post, so that it's clear that we're not doing the effect practically, but this is the area to indicate, yes, we've read the script, we're aware, we've brought out the item that we need to either shoot in production or handle during post, but either way, we've tagged the item. Now, earlier I mentioned that there's a comments box that I don't use, and here's why. What I use is the section called Notes. Now, Notes is a category that should basically tag anything you want to bring to the AD's attention or some department's attention, an unresolved issue, anything that you want to flag for down the road. And by simply using this one area instead of the comments box and this area, you actually sort of consolidate your notes. So I just find it to be a little more practical. So those are the major categories that Movie Magic has. I've modified a few of them just to suit my liking and to modernize it just a little bit. When you open up your default template in Movie Magic, you'll see that some of the categories are going to be different from the ones that I have. But that's the point, is that you can customize this program to serve your production better and maybe obsolete some of the elements that aren't really used so much anymore.